That was
All right.
it. That was all the questions.
Okay.
So on to you, Clay, I think.
Actually, Steve,
Last topic.
Oh, Steve.
we have two more.
Most memorable
Two.
moment with your father that you can think could be anything like that touched you, I
Okay.
guess, or like that just stands out more than anything else.
Oh, when my father touched me, yeah, for sure.
Yes. Show us on the
Yeah.
doll though. Where?
That shows
All right,
the
last
tall.
one, guys. Let's see
Okay.
who gets it.
Can you move it to your right?
Dude, loved those shorts though that you just
As I said, the
described.
spandex.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
And the
Dang.
boots. You see the
Whoa.
boots?
Look at those
Oh,
They're
boots.
like the
nice.
wrestling boots thing.
Oh, it's got yeah, but that's
He
kind
had-
of like trench looking like now. He could just be like he could look like a hipster.
Dude, and no
Yeah.
matter what, that's exactly what kind of wore. I mean, he other than that, he would always just wear like just whatever, just like nice shirts or something like that, dress shirts.
Dude, he
Nice.
definitely had a style. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Have a
he
look.
owned it too.
All right. So memorable moment.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Oh, me.
You were trying to egg us
Okay,
on?
man.
You know, this one was a deep one. This one was a deep one.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We're gonna get real up in this.
Serious.
Yeah, let's get really real, okay?
Rough.
I was young. I was about I think 7 or 8 years old, and I was walking down the beach with my dad and my brother one day, and I had been in discussion with kids at that time in my life about God and about different things, and was unsure what this whole thing of God was and different stuff. And one really memorable moment with my dad was walking down the beach and asking him about what he thought about all this. You know what I mean? And he just explained his different view on it and different stuff, and it was entirely different than what the conservative version was of what the idea of God was. Like this guy in the clouds, and he does all this and that, and he's got Satan and him, and there's this whole thing. So it was like that part where we were going back. If you were watching this 2 days ago, was that open-mindedness that I was talking about, that trait that my dad had. That was a memorable moment for me. It was like opening my eyes up to one, it was like nobody actually knows.
Yeah.
And it was like, and there's so many other possibilities out there than just one possibility. And that was a really memorable moment for whatever reason. The setting, everything can still be, I can sit inside of that experience and that memory to this day. So I don't know why that was, but that was something that
I mean, it's a pretty heavy concept.
Right,
Yeah,
that concept, that
like,
idea, it changes and alters your entire reality, and from that
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
things just got different for me. And I think that's probably why that was such a memorable moment.
That's a really
Yeah.
good one, man.
Yeah, totally crazy. Like I said, I'm not the greatest when it comes to long-term memory and remembering things that had happened at a young age and remembering exactly the way it happened. But that was one that to this day I can tell you exactly what it smelled like, what it looked like, how many birds
Oh, wow.
it had. For whatever reason, it was just it was significant.
It's probably because of just the candidness that your dad was, and just how real of a conversation that was, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Completely
Yeah, such a real
different.
conversation at such a young age too, as well, where it's you're still trying to figure out reality in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And
not that I took what he had to say as that's the fact, but it opened my eyes to other things and to just oh, okay, there's other possibilities out here and this and that.
and
it
knowing
changed
knowing
reality.
who and the type of person you are, I'm willing to. It feels like to me, out of context, that moment really did shape a lot of the rest of
Yeah.
your life.
No, I think it
Yeah.
did too. Honestly, I do. I think it did too. I think that was why it was so memorable for me, which is because I think at that day, things about life and about how things work and operate changed for me dramatically.
Do you think your
It's just
dad had? Do you think he knew what he was doing? I mean, obviously he
No,
knew.
that's the thing that
right?
worries me the most is that I don't know what conversation I'm gonna have with my child
That's gonna
be that conversation.
Exactly.
For him, you know what I mean? Because what if I'm just slacking that day?
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? And it's,
Yeah.
not on point. And
It's not on my game, man.
Yeah.
this
What if
boom
instead you were like,
question,
well,
and I
there's
still feel
ghosts in your house,
that's
and
what I'm
you got to
saying,
deal with it.
And he becomes on one of those supernatural ghost hunting shows.
That's the thing about being a parent too, as well, is that you don't know when that big question or whatever it is going to be thrown on you, and you don't you haven't maybe prepped for it or whatever. I mean, I'm sure that he wasn't sitting there walking down the beach and expecting his son to go, "Hey, Dad, what is God?" You know what I
right.
mean? What? That came out of left field, and he delivered in whatever way it was. Even though, I was saying, the message he told me I still didn't fully accept, but it allowed me to at least still get what I needed out of it in my life. You know what I mean?
And it's so, and it's stories like that. It's moments like that that really Oh man, dude, it's just nuts. Like, you can never be prepared for it, but you got to do your best to prepare. You know what I mean? Like, you got to
We're
think about
starting
those
to get the
things.
ones about right now. The ones we're getting is like how our baby's born. Like, how
Mhm.
does the whole thing happen? And he's not
What do you
okay
guys
with
say for
just like
that?
we make the baby. You know what I mean? Like, well, we say that mommy and daddy make the baby together. You know, with daddy has a seed and mommy has an egg, and they go together. And what happens is that they form into a baby within mommy's, inside mommy's body. And then he's like, all right, well, how's it come out? Does it come out of your mouth? You know, does it come out of your butt? You know, like you're like,
Yeah, it
well,
comes out of your butt.
it comes out of mommy's private area, and stuff like that. We say, but now he's like, so how does the seed get to the egg kind of thing? And we're like, whoa, that's like how, like, because he's not okay with just like
He has to know
he's
everything.
gonna add, he wants
Yeah,
to know
yeah. The
everything.
next
What's going?
question.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's like, so where does the egg come from then?
you're like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
here we go. Like this is, and the cool thing about that too, the really awesome thing about that is that if we don't know the information, we told them we don't know the information. We don't just give them some BS, but
Mhm.
it gives us the opportunity to look it up later to respond to him about, hey, by the way, that question that you had, we found out it's this. You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
good skill
And it
in
helps
general.
us educate ourselves
Yeah.
too as well, but also give him facts instead of just what I call memes or just
Yeah. 'Cause he'll remember it.
information that's not correct that's going to be stuck inside of his head that you're going to later have to try to take out of yourself and build yourself a little differently later.
Yeah.
you know,
Cool.
you guys, come on. Remember
Dang
when-
man, I have so many. Like I guess a good father son moment. I can remember like one is when I was playing football and my dad wasn't there and I was psyched that he was probably gonna be there. You know what I mean? Because it
Oh,
was like
yeah,
one of the games, and then when he finally showed up, man, I played my heart out, dude. Like
Oh
I got like 3 sacks. I caused like a fumble because I was a nose
Oh,
guard on
sweet.
defense. I was playing like my hardest, and I remember him cheering me on. That I remember graduation. That was funny. Like he was the only one he yelled out like out of the whole entire like freaking crowd. Just like he's like woo, just like. And I knew it was him, so I smiled because like I was nervous and
Aw,
and he
man.
made me smile right at that moment.
Your
you know?
dad is awesome.
Yeah. There's just so many moments. Like I remember sitting there like when I went to go visit him and everything like that. I was up like at 12. He was a bail bonds, and anytime he got a call, he had to go and deliver the bail bonds. He got up one night and he's like, "All right, I got to deliver this to jail." It was like 2 a.m. in the morning, and he's like, "You want to come with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." And then like we were just talking the entire way. He was listening. Good singer. You know what I mean? Like he would sing.
Oh, really?
Like, he would sing like certain music. and
People have
it's
said
like-
he was the songbird of the generation.
Yeah, he was our songbird. That good.
Yeah, that good.
That good.
Just like Van Damme.
That dang. Some of the other moments too was when right before he left to Iraq. He had a talk on me. Like it was all sudden, dude. Man, I didn't even get to go to the airport with him. I was at work.
Oh,
and
really?
He called me up. He's like, "Look, I'm leaving." Like out of nowhere, and I was just like, I remember I was crying because I was like,
That's
I was
scary.
just like, like I felt like I was never gonna see him again. And
Yeah, yeah.
it turned out I did.
When you have
but-
that moment for the first time as a kid,
Yeah.
it is
Got a lot of
very
stuff
like I don't want to say traumatic, but like it is super scary, and like it changes the way you appreciate and think about when you see your dad, at least for a short term. Because like I remember having a similar experience of like, man, am I not gonna see my dad again? And like it's crazy.
I mean,
man.
I was pretty mad. I was at work. I was like, look, I gotta go. I mean, I want to see him before. I mean, he was already at the airport. Like he was leaving. I was like, he's like, no, don't worry about it. He's like, just take care of the family when I'm gone. Make sure everything's going good and everything. He's all keep in contact with you, all this other stuff, and yeah. So I remember that. So it was a bunch of stuff, man. I have so many memories with him. It's
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
He's just thinking about his family too, right? Like he's just making sure that everything will be taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything pretty much fell apart when he left. So
Oh.
tried,
Yeah.
tried, but it's
Yeah.
getting back to the way it was though. So that's good.
That's good.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes time to heal.
Yeah.
This is really, from a father's perspective, very informative and helpful for me, hearing about all your other experiences,
right.
and how my lens has like changed a
Changing.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
and what it's just really cool. So I appreciate everybody's candid comments about this stuff. It's awesome. My memorable moment, I think, stems from every time my dad has ever sat down to me and just looked me straight in the eye and be like, "Look, I want you to know I love you and I'm proud of you." That was always
yeah.
super, like, really awesome.
Yeah. That's a big one. That's a big deal. That's actually
Yeah.
a huge deal And I delivered that to my son a lot too in those moments, like when he graduated from pre-K, or the fact that he tried, with violin the other day, and he kept on trying even though he was having a bit of a hard time. Letting him know at those times, I think that's such an important moment, getting that acceptance from your father, especially when you're a son, that is so huge and significant in your life. Like you said, that those are memorable moments for you, from here on out. Every time that he said, "Hey, I'm proud of you too." And it's not like, as long as you're not over abusing it, and it's not like you say, "I'm proud of you for everything that occurs," then it'll lose its touch. But I think that whenever you're delivering that in significant moments, I think that like makes an impact for the child. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
Big time.
And so that was impactful. There's just, you wrapped it up. Like, there's nothing else to add to that. That was really well said. And then I think another big one, just because of this severity of it, is when my dad was having he had a heart attack. And that was in college, dude. I remember getting that phone call. I was in the Maelstrom house, and then just bawling my eyes out in the shower because I was like, oh my God, I'm in Savannah. I can't go home. Is he going to be okay? Because he was hospitalized. Like, that just sucked. And then, like, years later, he had another heart issue, and he ended up having a heart transplant. That's why I have his dog tag kind of here, and his heart to represent. Like, that was huge. Like, I got at least an extra like 10 years with my father, and so that was really, really big. And then finally, a big memorable moment, it's a little bit more lighthearted, is when him and I actually went to go see our very first football game. Oddly enough, it wasn't until I was like 25 or something like that, 24.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we did it right. I wanted to get something for him for his birthday, so I helped pay for his ticket and flight. And we split the hotel. We went to Tennessee, and we saw the Titans play the Colts because he was a huge Peyton Manning Colt fan. I was a huge Titans fan. They're the same division. They play each other all the time. And this was the last year that Peyton Manning, his favorite football player at the time, played for the Colts. And they beat the Titans, which I was pissed off about. But we had, like, it was just a really great, like, father-son time. Like, we got to drink and eat food together.
That's a good city,
and, like,
too, as well, to, like,
yeah,
do
we got
that
to explore
experience.
Nashville. We talked a lot about things like my childhood, and we kind of got, like, pretty personal about it. And just, like, kind of got real, and then we saw a fucking football game like together live. Like, it was just really special, and so we're trying to do that again.
Good.
But yeah,
that's good, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And now being a father too as well, you can see how important it is to be as a son, to those kind of moments in life when you're building that kind of relationship, like you're growing your relationship you currently have. Now being a father, you're like, I'm sure you're like, whenever we get to this age and he's 25 years old, or he's whatever age he is, you are now, like, you hope you have those moments too. Yeah. And more often than not, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, I also had to pay for his beer because they carded us. he was 65 at the time, or 64, and they would not serve him beer, so I had to buy his beer. He forgot his license. It was really funny.
Really?
Yeah.
You should be like, well, if my team loses, you don't get any beer,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cut him off.
You're cut off. He was like, "Woo, go Colts!" Ball the whole time. Titans fans all around us were just like, and they're like, "Yo, he's with you?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he's cool. Don't worry about it.
It's my dad.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was fun. Alan, did you go?
Yeah, I was trying to think. I mean, I know unspecific is playing golf with my dad. That's like a memory I have a lot of times. But the most memorable thing is actually when I want to say it's like first or second grade. I was with my dad at the time, and he was a volunteer firefighter. So, like, I think he had just picked me up from like an after school activity, so it was nighttime, or maybe we just finished dinner or something like that, and he got a call that he had to go to like a I don't know, like a 2-alarm house fire or something like that, which is like how many stations they need to bring when they say like an alarm. Anyway, we're in this like old ass Suburban, like white Suburban, and he's just like hauling ass. I was like so excited because he always had the light in his car, and I was always like, yes, I like want to put this on the car so bad. He was like, yeah, you can do it. And so like I got to put like the red light on top of the car and like turn it on. It's just like no. And then I remember we went around a corner, and like I could hear the screech of the tires, like skrrr, like going around. And like to me, I don't know if this is just like a kid, like what they thought, but it felt like it was like went onto two wheels, like as it went around the corner. It's like so
My
fast, and
dad is so
I was
badass.
like so cool. And then we get around the corner, and then there's just like this blaze like up in the sky. It's like a huge fire, like house fire and everything. And he just like gets out, like goes into opens the back thing and like throws on like the gear. He's got like the helmet and like the everything. Just throws it on, and then like runs off like towards the fire. I was just like, this is so cool. And I remember when my mom comes to pick me up that night, I was just like couldn't stop talking about it. I was like, yeah. And then we went around the corner, and it was like skirt, and it was like all on two wheels. And my mom, I just remember her looking like mortified, and she was so pissed at my dad for like
I
bringing me
cannot
there.
believe that.
Yeah, because she couldn't believe like he would take me, like take me there. Whereas as a kid, I'm just like, this is the greatest thing like I've ever done in my life. And I remember my dad like later on, I think when I was like older, he was just like, yeah, your mom was not happy with me that night. I was like, oh, sorry, like I probably ruined it for you. He's like, yeah, it's probably not good to tell her the
A
thing about the
memorable moment
wheels.
for me is the 3 weeks of shit that I got after that event.
Yeah.
And it's like, this has gotta be
Yeah,
so-
he's like, you probably shouldn't have told her about like the driving part or anything.
Probably shouldn't have told her about us being on two wheels going around the corner.
Yeah, I really don't know if I made that up, but to me, that's how it all went down for sure.
It probably did go down like that. Let's just keep that story.
And like the kind of like cathartic thing of it is I don't know if anybody like died in that fire either,
Yeah.
Oof.
because it was like a huge
Serious
fire, yeah, a gigantic fire. And like I always think about that. I'm like, man, I was like so excited and thought it was so cool, but it was like, think about if it was your family or something, in that house fire, you're just like,
Perspective.
yeah, different perspective for sure.
Yeah.
So definitely the most memorable thing I can think of with my dad.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love all these stories.
More than anything else.
Oh, when my father touched me, yeah, for sure.
Yes. Show us on the
Yeah.
doll though. Where?
That shows
All right,
the
last
tall.
one, guys. Let's see
Okay.
who gets it.
Can you move it to your right?
Dude, loved those shorts though that you just
That's why I said
described.
the spandex.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
And the
Dang.
boots. You see the
Whoa.
boots?
Look at those
Oh,
They're
boots.
like
nice.
the wrestling boots thing.
Oh, it's got, yeah, but that's
He
kind
had-
of like trench looking like now. Dude. He could just be like, he could look like a hipster.
Dude, and no
Yeah.
matter what, that's exactly what.
Moment with my dad was walking down the beach and asking him about what he thought about all this. You know what I mean? And he just explained his different view on it and different stuff, and it was entirely different than what the conservative version was of what the idea of God was. Like this guy in the clouds, and he does all this and that, and he's got Satan and him, and there's this whole thing. So it was like that part where
That's exactly what kind of wore. I mean, other than that, he would always just wear like, just whatever, just like nice shirts or something like that, dress shirts.
Dude, he
Thanks.
definitely had a style. Like,
Yeah. Have a
he
look.
owned it too.
all right. So memorable moment.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Oh, me.
You were trying to add
Okay,
something?
man.
This one was a deep one.
That was
All right.
it. That was all the questions.
Okay.
So on to you, Clay, I think.
Actually, Steve,
Last topic.
Oh, Steve.
we have two more.
Most memorable moment with your father that you can think could be anything like that touched you, I guess, or like that just stands out more.
This one was a deep one.
Okay.
We're gonna get real up in this. bitch.
Serious.
Yeah, let's get really real, okay?
Rough.
I was young. I was about I think 7 or 8 years old, and I was walking down the beach with my dad and my brother one day, and I had been in discussion with kids at that time in my life about God and about different things, and was unsure what this whole thing of God was and different stuff, and one really memorable